Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my official 2026 March Madness bracket. So, we're going to be going match by match, starting with the East region, Duke and Siena. I'm taking Duke here. Duke is they're the number one overall seed for a reason, so I don't think they should have any issues with number 16, Siena. Moving on, we got the first 8 versus 9 seed. I'm taking number 9 TCU over Ohio State. Ohio State is good, but so is TCU. I just think TCU is just a little bit better than Ohio State this year. It's not putting Ohio State down. I just think TCU is the better team here. St. John's in Northern Iowa. I'm taking St. John's. I just don't think there's any way Northern Iowa keeps up with St. John's. I mean, considering the fact that St. John's put a beat down on UConn earlier in this, just a few days ago, I think they get past Northern Iowa pretty easily. Kansas and Cal Baptist. I'm taking Kansas. It's Kansas. There's no way Cal Baptist beats them. Number 6, Louisville, and number 11, South Florida. I'm taking Louisville here. Yeah, South Florida. They did. Louisville earned a tough matchup here, but I don't think Louisville is going to lose this game. Louisville, I think, takes this one. Then we got number 3, Michigan State, and number 14, North Dakota State, Michigan State. Dare I say anything else? It's Tom Izzo and March. Next up, we got number 10, UCF, and number 7, UCLA. I'm taking number 10, UCF here. I don't like McCronin, whatever his name is, UCLA coach. I don't think he's a good coach. I think UCF's the better team here. Number 2, UConn, and number 15, Furman. UConn. It's Dan Hurley in March. Dan Hurley's won 2 national championships in the last 4 years. So, that's why I'm taking UConn there. Going on to the South region, I'm taking Florida. So, for the play, and I think Leahy will beat Prairie View A&M. So, but either way, I think Florida beats either of the two. So, I'm taking Florida there. Next up, we got number 8, Clemson, and number 9, Iowa. I'm going to take Iowa. I think Iowa's actually a pretty good 9 seed. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Florida though, in the round of 32. But I do think they take down Clemson. Next up, we got number 5, Vanderbilt, and number 12, McNeese. I'm taking number 5, Vanderbilt here. And moving on, we got number 4, Nebraska, number 13, Troy. I'm taking number 4, Nebraska. Next up, we got number 6, North Carolina, number 11, VCU. I'm taking North Carolina. I think this could be one of the more interesting games of the first round, but I think North Carolina pulls this one out. Next up, we got number 3, Illinois, number 14, Penn. I'm going to take Illinois here because not because I don't think Penn can do something. It's because I think there will be a Cinderella run, but I don't think it's going to be Penn. And I don't think it'll be who you guys think that I think will be the Cinderella run. Next up, we got number 10, Texas A&M over number 7, St. Mary's. I am taking Texas A&M here. I'm not high on St. Mary's this year. I would have put St. Mary's at like an 8 seed and probably given Iowa the 7 seed. But that's not my decision to make. But I'll take Texas A&M over St. Mary's. Then we got number 2, Houston, and number 15, Idaho. I will take Houston there. They're the reigning national champion runner-ups. So I will take them because they're going to be on a revenge arc this year. Now let's go back up to the top of the bracket. Now to the right side, number 1, Arizona, or number 16, Long Island, Arizona. I think they win this game with flying colors. Next up, we got number 8, Villanova, number 9, Utah State. I am going to be taking number 8, Villanova. Next up, we got number 5, Wisconsin, and number 12, High Point. I am taking Wisconsin, but don't be surprised if High Point wins. High Point's averaging just about 90 points a game this season. Wisconsin's averaging about 83. High Point's allowing, on average, 70 points per game, whereas Wisconsin is averaging about 73 points per game, or allowing 73 points per game on average. Next up, we got number 4, Arkansas, and number 13, Hawaii. I'm taking Arkansas here. I think Arkansas is. I mean, they just won the SEC tournament over, or was it Vandy that won it? Let me look it up real quick. I think it was Arkansas who won it. Yeah, it was Arkansas. And Vanderbilt was actually the runner-up in that tournament. So I think Arkansas is miles better than Hawaii. Next up, we got number 6 BYU in the second play-in game of this bracket, and it's going to be between Texas and North Carolina State. I take North Carolina State over Texas, but I'm taking BYU over either. Next we got number 3 Gonzaga, number 14 Kennesaw State. Gonzaga, it's Gonzaga in March. They're dangerous. I won't be surprised if they win the whole thing this year. Next we got number 7 Miami and number 10 Missouri. I'm gonna take Missouri. I'm not terribly high on Miami this year. And last year I picked against Missouri and I was right, but the year before that I took Missouri. Last year I took Missouri and I was wrong. But I think this year they do get it done as the underdog in this game. Next up, we got Purdue and Queens. I'm taking number 2 Purdue. I mean, they just won the Big Ten tournament over Michigan by a score of 80-72. They outmatched Michigan heavily in that second half. They outplayed them so bad in that second half, and I'm all for it. Let's go green. All right, moving on to the Midwest region, the final region of this bracket. I'm taking Michigan over UMBC or Howard. Now, I will say UMBC has the chance to do the funniest thing ever, because the last time they were in the tournament, they became the first 16 seed to beat a 1 seed. They're back in as a 16 seed again, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do it again, but it's probably not going to happen. But it'd be very funny if they did. Next up, we got number 8 Georgia, number 9 St. Louis. I'm taking number 9 St. Louis over Georgia. I don't think Georgia's that good. That's why this is an 8 versus 9 matchup, and I think St. Louis is the better team. Next up, we got number 5 Texas Tech and number 12 Akron. I'm taking number 12 Akron. I usually like to take at least one 12 over 5 upset in the first round every year, and I think this is the one. And we'll see if that plays out. And I think it will. Next up, we got number 4 Alabama and number 13 Hofstra. I'm taking number 4 Alabama, despite the fact that they're one of their best players, if not their best player, just got busted for having a couple pounds of weed. So yeah, I still think they get past Hofstra. I don't think that sets them back. So next, we got our third play-in game of the bracket. No, our fourth play-in game of the bracket. Or is it it's our fourth play-in game of the bracket. And it's between number 11 Miami, Ohio, and number 11 SMU. I'm taking number 11 Miami of Ohio here. And I'm taking number 11 Miami, Ohio over number 6 Tennessee. Next, we got number 3 Virginia. Also, the reason I'm taking number 11 Miami, Ohio, they were ranked in the top 25, and they ended up being one of the last teams into the tournament. So I think they got that little chip on their shoulder to go out there and prove the committee wrong, and that they should have been maybe an 8 or 7 seed. That's why I'm taking Miami of Ohio, because I think they got that chip on their shoulder of being one of the last teams in. Next, we got number 3 Virginia and number 14 Wright State. I'm taking Virginia here. This Virginia team looks really good this year. I think they could make some noise this tournament, and won't be surprised if they do. Next, we got number 7 Kentucky and number 10 Santa Clara. I'm taking Kentucky here just because it's Kentucky, and Santa Clara I don't think is that good. Next, we got Iowa State and Tennessee State. Iowa State, when Iowa State's hot, they're hot, but when they are cold, they're cold and can lose to anybody. But I don't think that they're going to be cold in this first game. I think they're coming out hot and coming out strong in this first game. So that'll do it for the round of 64. Now time for the round of 32, going all the way back up to the East region, where I'm taking number 1 Duke over Tennessee. This is where not Tennessee, over number 9 TCU. Duke just outmatches TCU in all aspects in this game. So I'm taking Duke. I'm taking who did I have? I'm taking Kansas over St. John's. I'm not too high on St. John's is good, but I think Kansas is actually no. I'm gonna take St. John's over Kansas. I'm taking St. John's over Kansas. Next up, we got number 6, Louisville and Michigan State. I'm taking Michigan State over Louisville. I may call me biased, but I think Michigan State's a better team, and I think they show it in that game. Next, we got number 10 UConn, or number 10 UCF, and number 10. If UConn was a 10 seed, I'd be asking some serious questions. But no, it's number 10 UCF and number 2 UConn. I'm taking number 2 UConn. UConn's a powerhouse in March as of late. Moving on to the South region, I'm taking number 1 Florida over number 9 Iowa. I think Florida being the reigning national champs, I think they continue that momentum and will go into the Sweet 16. Next, we got number 5 Vanderbilt and number 4 Nebraska, where I'm taking number 5 Vanderbilt to advance to the Sweet 16. Next, we got number 6 North Carolina, number 3 Illinois, where I am taking number 3 Illinois to take down UNC. Duke fans would be happy to hear that. Next up, we got Texas A&M and Houston. I am taking number 2 Houston to advance into the Sweet 16. Moving back up to the West region, I am taking number 1 Arizona over number 8 Villanova. Arizona's, I think, could have had an argument, or Arizona had a legit argument to be the number 1 overall seed, but Duke does deserve it. And if they had given it to Arizona, I wouldn't have been mad. Both deserved it, but Duke got it. But Arizona does have an easier region to put it lightly, or to put it vague. Honestly, they do have one of the easiest regions or one of the easiest paths to make a Final Four run. So that's why I'm taking Arizona over Villanova. Next, we got Wisconsin and Arkansas. I'm taking Wisconsin over Arkansas. Next up, we got BYU and Gonzaga. I'm taking Gonzaga here. I know BYU went to, I think, the Sweet 16 or Elite 8 last year, one of the two. But I think Gonzaga knocks them out early this year in the first weekend and goes on to weekend number 2. Next, we got number 2 Purdue and number 10 Missouri. I'm taking Purdue, not Missouri. I'm taking Purdue. They're the Big Ten champions, tournament champions, and they beat the crap out of Michigan in that second half, physically and mentally. I think they got to them mentally as well. So that's why I'm taking Purdue over Missouri. Moving on to the Midwest region, I'm taking Michigan over St. Louis. Michigan, I don't think they'll. They did struggle with Purdue, but Purdue's a heck of a lot better than St. Louis, and I don't think Michigan will struggle with St. Louis. Next, we got Alabama and Akron. I'm taking Alabama, even without their best player, or one of arguably their best player. I still think they win. So we got that, and next we got number 11 Miami, Ohio, and number 3 Virginia. I'm taking number 11 Miami, Ohio. Again, the reason I'm taking them is because they were a top 25 team that were one of the last teams into the tournament. So and they'll have that chip on their shoulder to want to go out and prove the committee and everyone else wrong, and that they should have been a higher seed. So I have Miami of Ohio, an 11 seed in Miami of Ohio, going to the Sweet 16. And our final round of 32 matchup is number 7 Kentucky, number 2 Iowa State. I have number 2 Iowa State going to the Sweet 16. Going back up to the East region, I have number 1 Duke over St. John's. Again, I think Duke's the better team here. And not to say St. John's isn't good, but I think Duke outmatches them in a few categories. And I think that's the deciding factor in this one. Next, we got my Michigan State Spartans and my UConn Huskies. I'm a Michigan State fan Michigan State first. But I'm taking UConn here. The way we've looked against Michigan this year, both times, I'm not confident that we could beat a team like UConn. we'd have to play how we did against North Carolina and Kentucky early in the season if we want to have a chance to take down UConn. Just the way we looked at the end of in that last game and against UCLA in the tournament, I'm not confident that we can make it past the Sweet 16 this year. So I'm taking UConn there. Moving on to the South region, I am taking number 1 Florida over Vanderbilt. Again, Florida, they're the reigning national champions, and I think they continue their run back to the Elite Eight. Number 2, Houston, and number 3, Illinois. This is where I have Houston getting knocked out. I have Illinois going to the Elite Eight. Houston, both these teams are really good. If this matchup does happen, I think this would be one of the best games of the tournament. This would be an entertaining game, at least to me. But I think Illinois pulls this one out. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Illinois here, and are going to be sleeping on Illinois in this matchup because I think a lot of people have this matchup happening. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on Illinois. But Illinois is good. I do think they'd take down Houston. All right, going back up to the West region, I'm taking number 1 Arizona over Wisconsin. Arizona again. Wisconsin is really their only outside of Gonzaga or Purdue would be their only tough matchup. But I think Arizona's still better, quite a bit better than Wisconsin. So I do think they take down Wisconsin here. Next up, we got Gonzaga and Purdue, and I am taking the Big Ten champions Purdue to go to the Elite Eight. I think they're better than Gonzaga. I think Michigan's better than Gonzaga, and Purdue handled Michigan really well in both halves of the Big Ten tournament championship. And that's why I think they go to the Elite Eight. All right, we got Michigan and Alabama. So originally I had Alabama winning this one, but now with the potential that they won't have their best player for this game, I'm going to take Michigan to advance to the Elite Eight. Now, going on to number 11, Miami of Ohio, and number 2, Iowa State. This is where I have Miami, Ohio's Cinderella run ending. I'm taking number 2, Iowa State to advance to the Elite Eight. Miami, Ohio, I think you guys will have a great run. I honestly think you guys could go to the Elite Eight, but you'd probably have to match up with either Santa Clara or Kentucky. Or else I don't think there's a way you get to the Elite Eight. Because I think Iowa State's just a lot better than you guys. But hey, I think you guys could beat Iowa State. There's nothing stopping you. But I don't think it's going to happen. All right, moving back up to the East region, the Elite Eight, UConn and Duke. I'm taking UConn to advance to the Final Four out of the East region. I think when it comes to March, I think Dan Hurley has more experience. Dan Hurley does obviously have more experience in March than John Shire does. And yes, it's still Duke, but I think UConn is... Call me biased. I am a UConn fan. But I do think UConn's... I honestly think UConn has had an argument to be a 1 seed over Florida or Michigan. Michigan, I think, could have been a 2 seed with that last performance they put up. And UConn could have taken a 1 seed. But they didn't. So but here we're really looking at a 1-versus-1 matchup, but it's a 1-versus-2. But I'm taking UConn here, the 2 seed, to go to the Final Four. Next up to the South region, we have Florida and Illinois. This is where I have Florida's run ending. I have Illinois going to the Final Four out of the South region. And going up to the West region between Arizona and Purdue, I have number 2 Purdue, the Big Ten champions, going to the Final Four for the second time in the last 3 years. I think Purdue does match up better with Arizona. I think Michigan's better than Arizona. And again, that's what I've been saying this every game with Purdue. That Purdue's been in. I think they're the better team. So I have Purdue going to the Final Four. Now we got Michigan and Iowa State. This is where I have Michigan's run ending is the Elite Eight. I have Iowa State going to the Final Four because I do think Michigan's head, I think it'll get to them like it did in the Big Ten championship. To me, it looked like they got in their own heads, like, oh, we got this. We're the best. Like, we're the best. We got this. We don't need to try as hard. And Purdue just killed them because of that. That's why I'm taking Iowa State here, because I think Michigan's just going to get on their high horse a bit and let their guard down a bit. So I'm taking Iowa State here to go to the Final Four out of the Midwest region. So that leaves us with a Final Four of UConn, Illinois, Purdue, and Iowa State. I don't have a single 1 seed in the Final Four. So between Illinois and UConn, this is where Illinois' run ends. I have UConn going back to the national championship for the 3rd time in 4 years. This would be a very good game. I think this would be an extremely good game. Just like Illinois-Houston would be. I think both these games would be phenomenal games. And I think UConn would pull it out here. Now we got number 2 Purdue and number 2 Iowa State. This is where Purdue's run ends as the Final Four. I have number 2 Iowa State going to the national championship, which gives us a national championship game of number 2 UConn and number 2 Iowa State, set to take place on April 6th in Indianapolis, Indiana at Lucas Oil Stadium. And my national champion for 2026 is the UConn Huskies. I have UConn winning their 3rd national title in 3 years, in the last 4 years with Dan Hurley. He was the first, I'm pretty sure he was the first UConn head coach to win multiple national championships that are back-to-back. But I'm pretty sure he'd become the first one to win 3. If he's the first one to win 2 with UConn, he's definitely the first to win 3, obviously. And for the tiebreaker, I always go with 120 every year, not 1,230. 120 points. And I don't feel like entering any of these. And yeah, that's my official bracket. I have UConn winning the national championship. I hope you guys did enjoy, and that is going to do it for this video. Please leave a like down below and subscribe if you're new if you want to see more content like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Also, let me know what your bracket, or who you have winning in the comments down below. Curious to know. Stay safe, stay positive. Love y'all. You guys are the best. Sport Nation out. Peace.